Hi, Lisa. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Never better. Excellent.
Awesome. We're supposed to be on video today, right? Or do I have it wrong?
Yes.
Okay, I just
Yes,
don't see
video.
you yet. Perfect.
Okay.
Ah, there you are. Beautiful
Thank
girl.
you.
How's everything?
Beautiful. How's everything? We're online because
Um,
because I'm sending it out. When we send it out, when does it
excuse me.
start? Bless you.
Right
When
now.
does it start?
Tell
Okay.
me when. You tell me when. You want to take a second to get the link? You got it?
I got the link. I just want to make sure that we start and then we don't have this introduction that there's, not professional,
I'm going to start right now.
thank
Here
you.
we go. Ready?
Thanks.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to be joining our friend Lisa Lucia live everywhere today, right, darling?
Yes, yes, we're live everywhere today. We need to work together in unity. I just looked on the news and I saw that they're working together about the union and the workers for the automobile contractors to make the automobiles. And the thing is that I'm so excited because they're starting to open their heart a little bit, the companies more, even though they do supply the needs of their employees. They're going to increase. This is what it said: 40% of their increase of their income, their wage, and also 32 hours a week and restoration. But I'm not sure if that's exactly true. They have not made a decision yet, but we need to pray. But the thing is they have the back problem because they didn't have inflation. They've had inflation for so long. We've had inflation, and they didn't increase the middle class and the lower socioeconomic class. So there's behind. But I'm not sure of all the details, but we need to pray for this because everything dripples down to this course is the first course is how do we treat our neighbor. It dripples down. Even though children are most important to me, the way we relate to our neighbors and our whole country will bring the children up and bring them in safety. Do you understand? So, but I'm so excited. And I want to tell you, do you know that my grandfather, after he got, because he was an Italian immigrant, he was the head of the union in Chicago. So I want to dedicate this to him. He was the head of the union in Chicago,
Wow.
my grandfather. Okay. And so I wanted to tell you, so I want to get going here and thank you so much. My name's Lisa Lucci Arden. I'm here with Podcast Businesses. I have a book, Our Need to Give to the World and Arise to God's Truth. Those books I wrote, Our Need to Give to the World, way before all this problems was happening because I looked ahead, because I was called to look ahead to see how America is doing and how we need to correct since the 70s, the inflation, and most of the funds were taken, unfortunately, by the 1% and 10%. So we need to bring everything back and balance it out. And I'm going to say right now for a prayer right now for the America, dear Lord, please help America to come together in truth and love and peace and miracle and justice and help. I give a deep prayer to the children that will find the children, and then also to the great billionaires. We cannot take that away. They've helped so much that Gates will come to his senses and realize we can't have synthetic food and synthetic agriculture, and that he'll see that to help and find the children and Elon Musk and Warren Buffett and Pelosi. I beg that you will help them see and open the doors of their heart. And I beg that this will happen and they'll come together and see the truth. And Vanguard will distribute the funds and donate funds to build the homes, and BlackRock to open up and build the homes as we discussed before. Otherwise, they won't have anything to exchange in business in 10 to 30 years if we don't have good business here in America and have good, excellent international business in the international business of the world. And thank you so much, God, for being with us. Thank you. We dedicate this to the people of America. In Jesus' name, amen.
Beautiful. Thank
See,
you.
the thing is that when we all need to speak to God, like for our work that we have to do, God wants to hear that. Okay. They don't speak about like people because it's not politically correct a lot, in
Mm-hmm.
some instances, like when President Trump goes to the Christian club, or even, anybody goes to the Christian, they speak Christianity or Jewish, they went to Israel, and McCarthy did a beautiful speech with Israel. And when you go to the Muslim country, you speak with them about God in a relationship to their aspects. We are a multicultural nation, and we're going to save America, and we are going to work together. We always have. So everyone needs to pray in all they do. Okay. And I wanted to say that I appreciate your time. And I want to say that I was allowed to speak in the airport. And one man was going like this to me. And because I got in the set, I just on the floor, and I just spoke. And the security guards were right there, the boss and everything. They let me speak in the airport about things that we had to do, which I'm going to speak about now. And but the man didn't understand. And then I says, I want to see your writings about America. I want to see. And I shouldn't have been so harsh. I says, that St. Thomas Aquinas, they thought he was stupid. They called him the big stupid ox. He was the most brilliant man in the medieval time. And Aristotle, he says, what is he doing? And then also Einstein, the beautiful Jew. We need to open our eyes. And so I'm sorry, gentlemen. I hope you see this on my podcast, because you were taping me and then you went like this. I'm your sister working together with you, and I'm ready to go. We're going to work together. Okay. So the thing is that we need to realize that the way we're going to solve the problem is through all the people working together in unity. Okay. It's not one person, but in unity, in justice and righteousness.
Yeah.
So we need to vote in freedom. And it happens to be President Trump by the perfect statistics of truth when he was in. So this is the thing that I'm going to talk about. I started to write an article about what happened to our America again in this time, because I already wrote the structure. Remember, I told you in my last podcast of the structure, what happened to America? That we had immorality, and morality there was tension, and then we lost our footing because we didn't take care of the middle class and lower economics class, and we didn't distribute the funds properly. And so that was a big problem because we were unfair. We didn't give to our neighbor. That's the second commandment, correct? Then we've had a lot of woke. We've had a lot of multicultural information bringing into our country that we assimilated to other gods. This is what this says actually in the ancient times, when you assimilate to other gods, other ideas. And so we assimilated to evil ways. And one of the evil ways, I have to say, is, and this is the main important thing for today, is the children. We have to find the children. And then I asked why. I said, people know where they are because there's so many. There's 85,000 recently. By the way, I don't know all my numbers exact, but there's 340,000 children gone since 4 years ago. Okay. Then there's 85,000 presently. They use that term, but they didn't tell me all the details. Then I don't know if that's included with the war. So we need to find the children. So we know by logic. I said, now let's look at this logically. Someone knows where they are. Okay. Because there's so many of them, correct?
Yeah.
Someone had to guide them somewhere. They had to guide them somewhere. So then I asked all around many people, and I think someone knew, and they told me that they're one man. And I felt like because I felt after talking to him for 30 minutes that he knew. He says they are using the children for harvesting organs. Okay. Number one. Number two, they're using for human trafficking. Number three, they're using for pagan rituals. Number four, they're using them in all sorts of ways for scientific testing. The children, and I know that for me as a science and philosopher too, but my first work was human trafficking. Really, I worked there for 3 years and more in human trafficking. in all different levels. So I felt in my heart, a lot of them are being used for humans testing, scientific testing. And then, but I believe some are safe.
Yeah.
I believe some are safe, but there's too many. Isn't that the great logic? You know, I
Yeah.
wasn't able to put all my law school things, you know, on this because I wanted to get from the heart. And I wrote this on the airplane and filling all the people, and I spoke out on the airplane, and they let me speak out about all these things. So that is the thing. We need to find the children. We are not a pagan nation. We are responsible. That means that if we allow this and not try to work together, even all of us, all Americans, all that do social media should send a social media text, social media hope, prayer that we need to find the children. And we need, that's the first thing, to pray and then and find the children. Anybody that knows, they could write an anonymous letter and bring it somewhere. And then 3, the people that know, they need to help us. And number 4, which is actually parallel at the same time, is the billionaire people. And I heard a prayer. The billionaire people need to help because they have funds. They could hire a private investigator group, like very high tech. Like I've always loved that 007 movie, you know.
Yeah.
I used to love those but I was asked to go visit actually when I was young. When I was going in my career, I had a meeting to go work for the police and the FBI and meeting and that. But they said, because you showed too much on the face and you do everything from the heart, it's the other, you need to do the peace and justice, like my mom told me. So I was always interested in the 007. I love those movies. They could hire some of those, and he's so cute, you know. They have those beautiful ladies, you know. It doesn't matter. We could be cute, we could be, you know, whatever, are beautiful outside, but we need to be beautiful inside. Like those 007, they gave all their life to do what they needed to do to find the children. And Pelosi, I'm asking her as a sister, because she's Catholic, that she needs to use some of the money and she could get a deduction to find these people. And she probably even knows where the children are. Okay. So that is the main thing today, that we are a pagan nation when we allow this, and all our hands are on it. And I have to say this, and I'll say this right now. We are not, when Hitler was in power and there was hardly any technology and the people didn't have that much power because of the technology and less globalization and everyone stayed in their houses because the military was going to kill them right off. You know, when they put the Jews across the streets and they knew they were going to do something, they burned them all. I said before, her heart is still burning of sorrow from her family and were burned and then incarcerated from Hitler. This is relative, what they're doing to the children, brothers and sisters. Okay, this is relative. We need, but it's in a different way. It's even more demeaning because you know how sometimes when people they're on their deathbed and they're living in death. Sometimes you feel that you want them to meet their maker in peace because you believe in eternal life, to go there. That's sort of what it is with these children. We need to do. We're not a pagan nation. We all just need to stand up, turn around, look on both sides in the front of us and come together. And we need to work together. And then I saw a vision. There was a chair. Okay. There was a chair. I was sitting in the chair. Okay. And then there was a whole bunch of people behind me, a whole bunch of people. And then I asked, what is that? And the color of the front part is like her background, like Jill's background. Okay. And I'm Lisa Luciarden. She's Jill Nicolioni. Okay. She's helped so much the world to bring truth and inspire. She reflects truth. So that's why she allows me to speak. And that's what we need to do to each other. But the color was sort of like that when I looked, I had the vision. And I asked, what is that? That is coming into the new truth of light. And everyone's going to work together behind you. Then I saw a whole bunch of people in the front. And I said, what is that? And they said, that's the people all working together. But it's the saints, it's the prayers, the Holy Spirit, whether all peoples that are God's humanity that accepted him, but the ones that accepted him to do his work also on earth as it is in heaven. Okay. So I had that vision but it's my work to tell you this, because I'm not a specialist in Holocaust, but I had good training from people. Okay, so a few good trainings, and this is to understand, and I got it at the heart, you know. So then the next thing is we need to do that. Okay, we need to do that. Is that we need to do this for sure. Then, and how are we going to do this? How will we do this? How are the tools? We said that we are going to all pray. We're going to send social media out. Everyone is going to pray on their knees and ask God how to direct us to find these children. We're going to write letters to all the billionaires to ask us to help us. Okay, we're going to write letter to Pelosi, because she made more stock than Warren Buffett. Okay, I was even teasing her. I kept on asking, I'll do a filing job for you. You know what I mean? Even though I'm not Democrat, you know, when I used to tease her, you know, when I was trying to help I helped all the time. I sought help all the time, but I would always tease her, give me a filing job and I can help you on what to do and what not to do, instead of just take some of the ideas and pick and choose, you know. But we need to ask this, but that was a divine message I heard, and other people I heard. Then number 2, how are we going to do this is by those things, by prayer, by righteousness, seeks justice and forgiveness of each other, and seek to do good works in all that we do. But we need tools. You know, we make a good organized fashion. That's how we're going to find the children. Okay, then that's how we're going to find the children. Then number 2, we need to vote in freedom. And that is President Trump. He happens to be the man that God has chosen for you, for me, for the world. But sometimes people deny things. You know, we denied him the second time, even though we saw that he won. But because they did so much tricks, we weren't able to use that very simple word, tricks, crime against us. We unfortunately lost that, but God is going to regain that. God is going to regain that. We're going to stand up again. We're going to stand up, and then we're going to sit down in the chair of all together with President Trump, the leaders that are going to bring integrity, truth, and America first. We need to know that these things are very essential to our America. And I've gone over and over this. And what's happened is that they plan this. I told you, they plan this in over a period of years. As I told you, they plan this. And I told you that in many podcasts, because I asked what happened. They said they plan this at a higher, I call it the higher tables of evil, that even maybe Davos doesn't know the higher. And there's inside job. It's an inside job. In America, we have war in America and the elite communists. And I call them elite. Someone said not to call them elite, but they're God-given gifts they have that they're using for evil. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And they know what to do to help. Then there's they have planned this all. How did it come so much? And I'll repeat to remind you, because remember, I told you the vote, the conspiracy, the CCP virus, the CCP vaccination, the lockdowns, all those things. And I warned you not to do any of those things before and how to handle it. Yeah. Many other people did too, but I did. And it's in writing and speaking on some of my podcasts. So we need to listen to each other and work together. So it was planned. So they're trying to take down America. And I believe there's a big silent backer. And who is a big silent backer internationally that has a lot of money? And I hate to say this, the oil people have a lot of money, correct? Yeah. Those are my brothers and sisters. The Muslim I call them, because I've always had beautiful friends. I had beautiful friends in Iran and Iraq when I was going to school. But who is supporting all this? Who's supporting all this? So, and then we need to stop the war right away. Right away. And I don't know whether Putin is still alive. I hear that he's not, but we need to stop the war right away. Right away. We need to stop the war. And we know, everyone knows there's problems with our government because Biden, I hate to use his name, that he did terrible things against America. That's what they said. I'm not here to point fingers because we all fall short, but he did have a big responsibility, as a president. So we need to correct it. Okay, right away. So we need to stop the war. We need to prepare for when President Trump gets in. We need to all come together and vote in all integrity, high integrity, first America people and all our city, states, and community. We need to find the children. We need to find the children right away. We need to realize that this has been a long-term problem to try to bring down our country. Some of the people did not know. They did not know, the investors, the beautiful investors, that they would get this down deep. They were just trying to save themselves. Even Vanguard and I believe Vanguard and BlackRock didn't realize that everyone lost footing. They couldn't help it at the CCP virus. How do we know they're not involved with that? So they try to save all the property and they bought all the property out, correct? So they own about 80% of all the income and properties, whatever. That's not exact, excuse me. Okay? Those numbers aren't exact. So, but they need to give back Vanguard right away and run. Run. Do Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel 4. Give back right away and help us right away. We have lists to jump in and they need to work with President Trump right away. Okay? Okay, then we need to realize that we have a woke system because they use the woke system, do you understand? Through the major companies, maybe even Vanguard and BlackRock. That's what I hear. They would only allow certain people loans. We talked about that, remember? Businesses to build because they want to have world control. But we don't want to waste our legacy year after year. Blood, sweat, and tears. Our beautiful people worked hard to save our country. We don't want our country to be a third world country. We want our country to be a free country, and it can be, and it will be, and it is being, because people are starting to see. We need to realize we cannot have world health. I told you that before, and we need to. But I told you solutions, no world health solutions of no world health control. But I've given you solutions in my other podcast. We need other people on the board. Transgender, we need to make illegal. We need to make illegal. Use it as a scientific experiment. Did you know that? That's what they began with the abortion. We need to stop the abortions. We need to give the people a platform to keep their babies. We need to realize that we need to we need to not make it a digital money system. It's a very serious and control and credit score system, a social credit score. We need to realize that we need to work together. We need to work together with all these situations that have caused. And you know what's caused all this? Not only are the stretch of the problem I told you before, but what happened to the distribution of funds and the inflation, and then also the woke system and globalization, international ideas that people didn't put God first. Okay, is we have geopolitical power. I told you this is my point idea. Geopolitical power. We have many geopolitical powers now. Okay, not just America and our threat of Russia. So it makes a big difference, brothers and sisters. We need to get those borders done right away today. That fentanyl, hardly anybody's talking about it. But you know what? I'm so grateful that the Congress and the House spoke out about all these things. Did you see that meeting? They're trying. And we need to get those borders like today. That's the most important thing, the borders with the children simultaneously. Then the geopolitical economy. I told you that the economy is stretched over and given. Usually, and when I wrote my first book in 2016, 60% of America was owned by Jews. The other was owned by Europeans and other people, Americans. Now it's gone down more and also the international people don't put money back in America. They use it, like I heard in Arizona, they build hay to make hay for their horses. Saudi Arabia, and they used all the water and they didn't do it correctly legally, and they're using all the softening all the water because they can't make it at their place in Saudi Arabia because it's too hot. And it's all quiet, closed mouth. This is a very serious thing. And all the other people have to have 100 years of water well before they could build a property. So we need, then there's technology. Technology makes everything fast. Okay? And so it could have the 9 billionaire criminal companies that work together for human trafficking in all sorts, all in business, in all different countries. There's nine in all the world. But there's also the criminal billionaires for the elite. There's also the criminal, which a man told me, actually he was in a criminal billionaire, like a mafia. He said, you know what, we're like Boy Scouts, the politicians. And he is right, but he wasn't Chinese. His was maybe working with money. I'm not talking about Chinese people. Chinese CCP virus. Now let's all correct that. The Chinese are beautiful people. They just happen to be Chinese. It's the CCP people that use even other people, like from other countries, the immigrants, to do their dirty work. I was in an airplane and I saw they were trying to do something to me. They knew who I was, and I saw what they did. But they weren't Chinese. They weren't CCP people. They were other people, a lower level. That they were. I don't know what that term is, where they use people to track them. And then there's globalization. So geopolitical power, geopolitical economy, technology, globalization causes all the different ideas of people, and then they don't know what truth is, what is not truth. And then also then they have doubt with the politicians, and then they don't know how to vote. They just vote on like ideology of Democrat. But now they know, God knows, and this was a message, God knows that you were tricked by the elite communists under the Democrat. He forgives you, and he forgives me, because I knew these things were happening, but I did everything I could. They killed me in 2019 in car accident. I was in 3 car accidents there, up in Santa Barbara, Montecito area, but everywhere. And they try to get me in Pasadena, every state. I have to say this: I'm not a victim, but I'm responsible, and I told you what's going to happen. Then globalization, as I told you, globalization is a big thing. It's a big thing today, because that's why we need to bring back the immigrants back to their country and integrate many of the immigrants, integrate with the billionaires. And this is what I told you here: the billionaires in the other countries, they take all the money from their people and they send them over here because they want us to take care of them, and they want us to have a third world country. Don't you get it? They have money to take care of their people. They hold all the money, like in Cuba. And we need to protect the borders. I told you that's another specialty, and I'm not talking about geopolitical power protecting the borders. I told you how I begged and begged to protect the lines, the ocean lines, and they're in Cuba, China. Then we need to realize that we need to bring freedom for the people, and we can do this through justice and peace.
Beautiful.
And thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Remind us how we can reach you and get your books and to find out more about you, Lisa Lucia Arden.
Okay. Thank you so much. My books are on Amazon, I Need to Give to the World, and Arise to God's Truth on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, or you can get it direct. You could get it directly on my website and see my work. I also am a speaker. I sing, but I also am able to help work on committees, really in a team, on a board, on how to solve problems, how to solve issues and work together. But I also do individual counseling for CEOs. I've done a lot of that, and even individuals. And I know a lot about nutrition. Everywhere I go, I tell the people about the nutrition.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Because
Lisa Lucia Arden,
our food is not right.
You.
That's another thing we need to correct. But thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, we're glitching here, but it was great seeing you. Thank you again for everything.
Thank you for everything.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the podcast